Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, as you guys may know, my name is Cherie. Nuclear power plants, which are also thermal power stations, are our primary source of electricity throughout the United States. In addition to the societal role that they play, they are an economical economical because we provide a lot of job opportunities by doing so. Power plants were first established in 1954, and they have provided heat to this day. Many people are weary of the operation and production of new plants because of the possible hazardous outputs that they can provide. But the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which is the NRC, has put in place many safety measures to help prevent any kind of accidental or natural disaster occurrence that could affect the reactors themselves. According to the World Nuclear Association, there has been a strong awareness of both nuclear criticality and the release of radioactive material by the use of power plants to produce electricity. But ironically, the risk that power plants actually play versus what we would assume that they would provide is very minimal due to the safety precautions that are put in place to start with. The NRC instills many safety measures that include the operation and then the training that the workers undergo when actually working on the reactors themselves. And knowing how the reactor works is going to be the primary factor in the safety issues that are listed. So here we go. We have the reactor itself, which has reactor fluid, and then it's got rods that are dropped into it to help prevent fission, which the rods contain cadmium, which absorb the neurons. And when those rods are released, the neurons go crazy and they cause fission, and that produces heat. So the fluid that's in the reactor itself that's heated up is then flown through a condenser, which forms, which has water in it. That hot fluid produces steam to then turn the turbine, which then turns a generator to produce electricity. And the reactor fluid that is flowing never actually touches the water or the steam, so it doesn't contaminate or radiate any outside feature. Fluid. The rods themselves are about 30 centimeters thick, and then the reactor itself has a 3.5-foot wall of concrete to help prevent any kind of external radiation release from the reactor itself. This map shows roughly 63 reactors on it, and they're circled in red. Most of them are condensed onto the East Coast, whereas there's maybe 10 or 15 on the West Coast, and yeah, there's not many in the Midwest because, I'm assuming there aren't as many people in the Midwest as there are congested into the East Coast and West Coast. And because of the way that the reactor actually works with the water producing steam, it's very cost effective into running it. And according to the World Nuclear Association, the reactor industry has been successful in any kind of accidental, reactions or any incidents for 14,500 nuclear cumulative years in over 32 countries. And only a few have ever had problems. The Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and the latest in 2011 was the Fukushima accident we had. Chernobyl and Fukushima were the two that actually had radiation material release that was more than like what the sun would produce outside of the actual facility. And Chernobyl was the only one that actually killed anybody because of an over-radiation exposure. Chernobyl was an improper containment structure. That was what caused their accident. And Fukushima had a flawed safety system. So when the earthquake initially hit Fukushima, they had a lot of hydrogen gas and radioactive gas that was building up in their reactors, and their operators were not allowed to vent that gas. Here in America, we have the authority to vent the gas. That buildup of gas initially caused the explosion, which then led to the multiple meltdowns of their reactors. After the 3 Mile Island investigation, they have led to a new focus on human safety, and so operators now undergo very extensive training in normal and accidental situations or any kind of natural disaster situations. And so now reactors are also built to have a zero exposure outside of their facility walls. So if any kind of accident did happen, it would stay contained within the facility itself and not be released outside of the walls. Many people also try and use other different sources of energy as a better source, like coal. Well, where coal mining comes in play, they actually have more deaths per year than any kind of other fossil fuel burning facility would, because the mining process and then the delivery process of coal actually kills thousands of people every single year, whereas running a nuclear reactor does not. So, because of the advancements that we've undergone over the past years of having the reactors operated on and continue to we have provided different safety measures that help prevent any kind of accidents. So, the advanced training, the monitoring that we do constantly on reactors, and then the safety precautions that are put in place allow us to actually run these in a safe environment for our families to live around and for communities to be built around as well. So my question to you guys is to think about that, and when somebody gives you a ballot to vote if you want to build a new reactor around, or if you're pro or con, please go pro, because reactors do. Nuclear power is a good power source for us. It is very, like I said, cost effective, and it's definitely something we should look into.